don't feel vindicated, you can escalate. I think we also need to start seriously thinking about making sure that it's not just the parliament that's there to discuss issues around civil policies, etc. We want to ensure that there's other enforcement councils and committees that will drive and ensure enforceability of these laws and protocols.
Mm-hmm. Does that mean that we have to look forward to quite a lot of public, information coming from the SADC to individual member countries so that they are more updated on what is going to be happening and what is going to be expected of them to make good use of the parliament itself?
Absolutely. I'm hoping that also, remember, those protocols are signed at a regional level.
Yeah.
What then needs to happen is ratification of those protocols into law within member states. So if Botswana is a party of that agreement, they need to then take that agreement and pass it into a law that is enforceable within Botswana. And of course, that comes with legal awareness, that comes with capacitated teams, and even those representatives that will go out to represent us within that parliament. So there's quite a lot of work that needs to be done. It is a big elephant to try and eat off, but I think it can be done.
Okay, let's go back to those two examples that I gave earlier. The capital punishment and the rights of people who wants to marry in the same gender. I want us to just go back to that again. If a country insists that we are not going to accept changing the law to allow a woman to marry a woman or a man to marry a man, what recourse do we expect citizens to go for or expect from the SADC Parliament?
I like that question because it still speaks to having oversight bodies outside just the parliament that will deal specifically, say for instance, with human rights issues. Because parliament, it would be just for decision-making purposes. That's when maybe a protocol or a policy is tabled at a regional level and a conversation needs to happen, voting needs to happen. But having specific oversight authorities within that same mandate will allow for people to literally vote on these issues at that level. And remember, majority rules. So it will be an issue of saying if majority have ruled in this way, we are all to follow. But I'm also yet to see what legal sanctions would then accrue to a country or a member state that does not live up to what they've signed for. So it's going to be very interesting. And I think, like any other new agreement, we hope there will be much commonality in terms of policy reform, but I hope that also we bring ourselves to the fore and understand how the global village works, if this is going to work for us.
Global village, let's do that comparison between what would happen in that case in Europe if a member country in the European Parliament ignores what the Parliament has decided on.
Most times they'll impose sanctions, there'll be fines, and depending on which oversight authority is in breach, you'd get that particular leader or a personal person in that institution, being fined or imprisoned. There's just different ways of enforcing it within, or even certain economic sanctions that will then curb trade between countries. They've really come up with robust mechanisms that in a way will force you or compel you to comply. So I'm hoping that as we are rolling this out, we're also thinking about enforcement, because that for me is very key.
Okay, let's again go back to the improvement, how the Parliament, what we expect this SADC Parliament, the improvement to bring about in member countries. I talked earlier on democracy, trade, and human rights, and we talked much about human rights. I wanted to just talk about these two. Democracy.
Trade. I think it's going to deepen our democratic values as a region, but also we'll be able to share. I think there'll be commonality in policies, and we'll be able to deal with some of the social issues, emerging social issues that not only affect Botswana but the region. So I expect that there will be much more robust ways to discuss issues around trade in a way that we can attain, or at least be able to find some sort of uniformity that would enhance trade between member states. And I hope that will also enhance, obviously, economic growth within Botswana and all other member states.
So basically, when we talk about the democratic values, one would be expecting that all countries that have adopted democracy have the same values.
That's never the case.
That's never the case.
It's never the case. And we should anticipate teething problems. Like I said, teething problems will be there because our value system in Botswana will not be the same as Zimbabwe Zimbabwe or Namibia and the next country. So we are hoping at least we can all find commonality in so far as what laws do we enact, what immigration policies do we have across each other, what would really work to enhance trade, as you've spoken about, what would really help to also address some of the social issues that we're seeing right now, gender equality, inclusion, and ensuring that at the end of the day, we really attain the objective of the agreement.